Tonight on Y News, Department of Agriculture Secretary Manny Piñol vows to continue performing his duty until President Duterte decides on his courtesy resignation. Survey finds Asian cities among most costly locations for employees working abroad. Know your rights when you get apprehended by a traffic law enforcer. Weak rains felt in the country helped to slow down descent of the water level at Angat Dam. And know how Filipinos cope up with frequent water service interruptions in Metro Manila. Good evening. The Agriculture Department Chief will continue to perform his duty until the President decides on his courtesy resignation. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
Department of Agriculture or DA Secretary Manny Piñol has opted to limit giving statements following President Rodrigo Duterte's remarks of him being talkative. He has also preferred not to grant media interviews following his letter to the President through Senator-elect Christopher Bongo asking him to be relieved and transferred to a different position in the government. The Agriculture Secretary signified his courtesy resignation following reports that the President has been inclined to move him to become the chair of the Mindanao Development Authority, also a cabinet post. Piñol said he is a soldier of the President who follows orders, and for him, the most important thing is the performance of duty. Piñol clarifies he will continue to serve as the Secretary of Agriculture until the President decides on his request. The Agri-Secretary thanks the President for his continued trust to be part of his cabinet. The Agriculture Chief has recommended his 3 undersecretaries as his successor, namely Waldo Carpio, Francisco Villano, and Ariel Cayanan. Cayanan says he did not expect Piñol's decision. For him, the best thing is that Piñol's administration has created roadmaps for the department to be followed by whoever will replace him.
Ang maganda po, ang ating pong departamento ay may mga roadmaps po tayo that I think one of the what they call accomplishment of the Secretary's administration.
Some of the problems Secretary Piñol has faced as the DA chief are the bird flu outbreak in 2017 and the rice price increase in 2018. He has opposed the enactment of rice liberalization law that removes the power of the National Food Authority to import and regulate rice supply in the country. The West Philippine Sea incident happened this month in which a Chinese fishing vessel rammed Filipino fishing boat FB Gemver 1 with 22 Filipino fishermen on board. Secretary was assigned to lead the giving of assistance to the Filipino fishermen. Secretary Piñol was President Duterte's personal pick for the Department of Agriculture when he took over as President in 2016. He has been serving in DA for 3 years, co-terminus with the Chief Executive. Ray Pelayo, UNTV, News and Rescue, Quezon City.
PAGASA is continuously monitoring a low-pressure area in the Philippine Area of Responsibility. As of 3 p.m., it was located at 1,075 kilometers east of Huban, Sorsogon. It has no direct effect in the country, but it may develop into a tropical cyclone. Meanwhile, the southwest monsoon continues to affect Luzon and Visayas. Due to this, Metro Manila, Mimaropa, Western Visayas, Zambales, Bataan, Batangas, and Cavite will experience monsoon rains. Scattered rain showers will also be experienced in Zamboanga Peninsula, the rest of Luzon and Visayas. The rest of Mindanao, meanwhile, will experience isolated thunderstorms. PAGASA said the southwest monsoon will prevail over the weekend, mostly in the western section of Luzon and Visayas. The rainy days have come. Remember to stay dry and free from illness to enjoy the weather. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
The cold weather can now be felt as the rainy season has begun. Some call it the sweater weather. There are Filipinos who are happy when it rains while others feel the opposite. But one thing is for sure during the rainy season, everyone wants to stay dry and free from sickness. Here are the things to bear in mind to remain in tip-top condition. Don't forget to bring rain gears like an umbrella, raincoat, and a pair of boots. If your wallet allows, wear a waterproof jacket or parka. Leptospirosis can also be avoided if the feet are protected, especially the wounded parts. Don't walk through floodwaters. You don't want to be stranded, especially with a downpour that creates flood. Avoid traveling during the rush hours as commute will be harder. Bring extra clothes and towel for use when the need arises. When your clothes get wet, they invite virus, making it easier to acquire cold, cough, and fever. Wear a jacket or a sweater to keep you warm. Apply insect repellent before going outdoor to avoid getting bitten by dengue virus-carrying mosquitoes. Have enough intake of vitamin C. When work and class suspension are declared, better stay at home. Drink plenty of water.
The cold weather is more enjoyable without cough, cold, and fever. Always remember that prevention is better than cure. Keep warm, stay dry, ingat mga kasangbahay. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Several Maynilad customers in CAA Las Piñas City will receive rebates from their water bills after residents suffered more than 15 days of no water supply. Meanwhile, the weak rains that poured over the Angat Dam watershed contribute to the increase in the reservoir's water level. Joanna tells us why.
From 158.13 meters yesterday, the water level in Angat Dam was just down to 157.99 meters as of 8 a.m. today. This means there were only a 0.14 meter reduction in the water level, which is lower than the 0.37 and 0.25 meters recorded in the previous days. According to National Water Resources Board or NWRB Executive Director Servilio David Jr., the weak rainfall in the previous days has brought about a slow decline in the water level of Angat Dam.
It's a positive development, no? Kasi meaning may mga pumapasok, no, na mga inflow, no, sa Angat Dam, no? And of course we have to closely monitor pa rin and are hopeful na mag-continue, no, para probably na-start na to ng pag-recover, no, ng Angat Dam.
Although this is a positive development for the NWRB, Servilio says it is too early to assume that Angat Dam is recharging. Servilio adds they will maintain the 36 cubic meter per second water allocation for the Metropolitan Waterworks and Sewerage System or MWSS, while the close monitoring on the water supply situation continues.
Tingnan ho natin dito yung requirement din on security ng water supply in the next, for the rest of the year, no? Kasi kung gaano siya kataas makarecover, no? Yun ang kailangan natin tingnan. And in order for us to consider kung masisecure natin yung pangailangan natin sa tubig for the rest of the year, even sa susunod na taon.
The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration or PAGASA is expecting 2 to 3 typhoons in July that may bring significant rains in Angat Dam watershed.
Malaking tulong din ito dun sa watershed ng Angat Dam kasi itong bagyo ito ang maghahatak ng habagat na posibleng magbigay ng pagulan o malalakas na pagulan dito sa watershed ng Angat Dam.
If no rain comes in the weekend, PAGASA projects that Angat Dam may hit its 157.57 meters record low. On another note, Maynilad customers in CAA Las Piñas City will receive 2,500 pesos water rate rebates. This after the MWSS imposed a penalty against Maynilad for its failure to provide water service in CAA for more than 15 days, which is a violation of the concession agreement. The said rebates will be deducted from their water bills and may be done on a staggered basis. John Nano, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
A survey finds that Asian cities are among the most costly location for employees working abroad, with Manila's rank up this year. A mobility leader says the government must study how the cost of living trend can be improved. Nina Armilio will tell us why.
The cost of living in Manila has increased. This is the finding of an international human resource consulting firm called Mercer, which operates in over 130 countries. Mercer's 2019 cost of living survey primarily finds that 8 out of the top 10 of the world's most expensive cities for expatriates are Asian cities. These include Tokyo, Singapore, Seoul, Shanghai, Ashgabat, Beijing, and Shenzhen. Manila sits in the 109th place this year, up by 29 spots from last year. According to Mercer, cost of living is an important component of a city's attractiveness for businesses. Mercer's annual survey finds that a number of factors, including currency fluctuations, cost of inflation for goods and services, and volatility in accommodation prices, contribute to the overall cost of expatriate packages for employees on international assignments. Meanwhile, Mario Ferraro, the Mercer mobility leader for Asia, Middle East, Africa, and Turkey, says the result of the study should signal a country's public and private sectors to take a deeper look on which factors are behind the dramatic increase in its cost of living from 2018 to 2019 and how they can be addressed to ensure the country's continued competitiveness. According to the PSA, or Philippine Statistics Authority's 2010 Census of Population and Housing, there were almost 200,000 expats in the country. Most of them came from India, Korea, Japan, China, and the US. Nina Armilio, UNTV, News and Rescue.
Traffic violators need to answer for every offense they commit, but that doesn't mean you should surrender your driver's license blindly the moment you get caught by authorities. Let's find out who can confiscate and who cannot confiscate a driver's license in Mon Hocson's report.
You're traversing EDSA when suddenly a traffic law enforcer flagged you. What will you do? A. Escape the apprehension. B. Panic. Or C. Surrender your license. Are you a motorist? If yes, then you must know your rights on the road, especially when you encounter a wayward traffic law enforcer or towing agency personnel. Here are the things a motorist must bear in mind to avoid falling prey to opportunistic traffic law enforcers. Disclaimer, not all traffic law enforcers are abusive and opportunistic. Many are still honest in performing their duties. Let's find out which personnel are allowed by law to confiscate a driver's license. According to Albert Swansing, the Secretary General of the Philippine Global Road Safety Partnership and a former Land Transportation Office Chief and Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board Chairman, only officials and deputized officers of the Land Transportation Office may confiscate a driver's license.
Dahil LTO lang naman ang nagbibigay ng driver's license, so sila lang ang may karapatan na kunin niya ang kumpiskahin yung driver's license.
On the other hand, who are not allowed to confiscate a driver's license? Swansing clarified that MMDA traffic officers and members of the Philippine National Police Highway Patrol Group cannot take away a motorist's license unless they are deputized LTO agents. It is true that the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority has jurisdiction over traffic on all national roads in Metro Manila. Yet MMDA traffic enforcers cannot confiscate a motorist license. This is also applicable for traffic law enforcers in the province, cities, and municipalities. Remember that traffic law enforcers can flag you because of a violation. They can ask you to show them your license, but the law doesn't state that you must surrender it to them. If a traffic law enforcer issued only a citation ticket, they are not LTO deputized. But if they issue a temporary operator's permit or TOP, they have the right to confiscate your license. Swansing said the TOP has 4 functions. It is a receipt when a driver's license is confiscated. It is a charge sheet. It is a summon. And it is a temporary driver's license or conductor's permit. But did you know there are exemptions to the rule? There are instances when although a traffic law enforcer is not deputized, he can confiscate a driver's license.
Pwede lang nilang kunin yung i-hold yung driver's license ng isang driver ng sasakyan is kung na-involve ito sa isang malagim na aksidente. Bukod doon, kung traffic violation lang, kung wala silang deputation papers ng LTO, ang traffic enforcer, ang ginagamit nila yung kanilang sariling traffic citation ticket.
Aside from what Mr. Swansing said, a traffic law enforcer can confiscate a license if you allow another person to use your license. You operate as a colorum, driving against traffic, use a fake license, illegal or unauthorized counterflow, speeding, and others. If you are flagged by a traffic law enforcer, you may politely ask for their mission order to verify if the apprehension is valid. A mission order contains an officer's area of responsibility, time of duty, official function, and the capability to whether or not issue tickets to traffic violators. It's advisable to always keep a copy of Republic Act 4136 or the Land Transportation and Traffic Code in your vehicle to make sure the traffic regulations being cited by a traffic law enforcer exist. Driving is a privilege and not a constitutional right. You get your driver's license based on the skills you have and the rules you agree to follow. After you get your driving license, you must continue to demonstrate your ability to drive safely on the road. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Water service interruptions are making the Filipinos' lives miserable. How do Filipinos keep up with this challenge? Watch how Filipinos save water as Harleen Delgado reports.
Isang tabo linggo challenge.
Challenge accepted. Water is life for all our kababayans. That is why they're doubling their efforts to conserve water, especially those who are severely affected by the water service interruptions in Metro Manila. Some of them even did the One Dipper Bath Challenge.
Walang tubig dito sa Quezon City.
This man opted to pour water in one go, while this woman even made a tutorial-like video. This man took a step further and tried to take a bath with only one glass of water.
Challenge accepted.
But how do Filipinos keep up with the challenge in real life? Here in Mandaluyong City, where water service interruptions continue, people have different ways to combat the crisis. Jennifer and her family collect the water they used in bathing and reuse it in cleaning their bathroom.
Naliligo kami dun sa may planggana. Doon kami naliligo. Saan sinasahod namin sa planggana? Para makatipid. Ayun ang panglinis namin ng CR, pambuhos, pag magsi-CR kami.
In this eatery, meanwhile, plates are covered with plastic.
Bumibili ako sa kapitbahay ng tubig, balde-balde. Pero hirap na hirap ako nag-iigib. Pumapayat na nga ako sa igib eh.
Tapos kapag nagtututbrush kami, isang baso na lang para makatipid kami. Nag-iipon kami ng tubig, pati yung mga kaldero namin, halagyan na namin ng tubig.
Yung mga pinantutbrush, iniipon namin para pwede ring ipandilig sa halaman, pwede pang ma-recycle sa iba.
Filipinos are known for being resilient. Some may lack water, but unity and care among us will always be overflowing. Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue, Mandaluyong City.
Good evening. Oil companies will implement a big-time price hike next week. This is the third week the prices of petroleum products will increase after a series of rollbacks. According to industry players, there will be a 90 centavos up to 1 peso and 10 centavos per liter increase in diesel, while there will be a 1 peso up to 1 peso and 25 centavos increase in the price of gasoline. Motorists are advised to gas up this week before oil companies implement the big-time price hike. The price increase is dictated by the movement of the oil price in the world market. Meanwhile, Malacanang says they are confident that any impeachment complaint against President Rodrigo Duterte will not prosper. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
I-impeach ako, kulungin ko silang lahat. Subukan ninyo. Try to take it. You need to do it, and I will do it. Sabihin ko sa mga sundalo ko, ipadala ko kayo doon. Paano itong mga pamilya nito? Tapos maubos.
President Rodrigo Duterte has challenged those who are planning to file impeachment complaints against him over the issue of the disputed territories in the West Philippine Sea. He has even warned the impeachment proponents of sending them to jail. According to presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo, the president is serious about his statement because his critics do not understand his point. Secretary Panelo explains that what the president wants is to protect the interest of the country and its people more than the marine resources in the disputed territories. Former Foreign Affairs Secretary Alberto Del Rosario and Senator Leila de Lima have said it is an impeachable offense for the president to allow China into our exclusive economic zone. But President Duterte is confident any impeachment complaint against him will not prosper, especially because an impeachment process is a numbers game and most of the lawmakers are his allies.
How can a president be scared of impeachment? An impeachment is a numbers game. Super majority ngayon sa Kongreso, baka sa Committee on Justice, wala na kagad.
The palace official also insists that the ruling of the Permanent Court of Arbitration or PCA in 2016 favoring the Philippines over China on the disputed territories in the West Philippine Sea will not be in vain.
Meron ka ngayong bargaining leverage. Kung wala yon, wala tayong wala. Wala kang ibibigay na, anong basis nyo? Ba't kayo nandito? Kaya hindi rin useless. Kaya lang, ang problema nga yung enforcement.
The Philippines has been using the ruling to invoke our rights in the West Philippine Sea against China. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
Some senators believe that the assistance of the United States in the West Philippine Sea will not result in war with China. This is the reaction of some lawmakers after President Rodrigo Duterte remarked that the said call to the U.S. will bring war in the region. Nel Maribohok will tell us why.
President Rodrigo Duterte believes that seeking help from the United States over the West Philippine Sea disputes issue will just bring the country closer to war. This is the president's reaction after Senator Panfilo Lacson said that the government should invoke the Mutual Defense Treaty as a proactive move to stop the bullying of China in the West Philippine Sea.
I have to protect the interest of my country, the very life of the Filipino. 110 million. Nando, Amerika, bakit ka magsabi ng, bakit tawagin mo Amerika? That will all the more bring us to the verge of war.
But in defense, Senator Lacson in his statement says while his opinion is different from the president's, it doesn't matter which one is right or wrong. The important thing is who's making the decision, and that is the president. He also insists that his statement is just his opinion. Senator Ralph Recto, meanwhile, believes that involving the U.S. in the regional issue will not tempt war with China. He says a multilateral diplomatic approach is good for the country. For Senator Francis Pangilinan, the talk of war is unfounded. Indonesia, Malaysia, and Vietnam have asserted sovereignty in the disputed waters, but no war has been declared by any of these countries against China. Amid the tensions in the region, Senator Richard Gordon recommends to President Duterte to conduct a National Security Council meeting.
And in the case of foreign policy, isa pang weakness natin yan. The President must now therefore call the National Security Council regularly because we are in this pickle. We are always in this fight with the Chinese.
Meanwhile, Senator Vicente Soto III is saddened with the reactions of netizens after saying that the exclusivity of marine resources is hard to determine. He said the fish in the country could be coming from China and the fish from the Philippines could be going to China. According to Soto, it's just a tongue-in-cheek statement. But sadly, only some understand it. Nel Maribohok, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
President Rodrigo Duterte maintains that he will not choose the 18th Congress House Speaker. He also narrates what transpired during his meeting with the aspirant speakers. Grace Casin tells us why.
Reports say that today, June 28, President Rodrigo Duterte would announce his personal choice of House Speaker. But instead of revealing his bet, he narrated what happened during his conversation with the Speaker aspirants. President Rodrigo Duterte confirmed that he and Taguig Representative Alan Peter Cayetano talked about the House Speakership, the reason why the incoming congressman resigned as the Secretary of Foreign Affairs Department and run for a seat in the lower chamber.
Magtakbo siya ng congressman, manalo siya, sabi niya, tulungan mo ako kasi gusto kong tumakbo speaker na lang. Okay. Tapos, ang nagsabi na, yes, it's all right to run. Pero hindi ako nag-commit because we politicians do not commit or support. Hindi mo kasi alam ang what is tomorrow.
The President added that Marinduque Representative Lord Alan Velasco told him his desire to run as the House Speaker.
Maya-maya si Lord Velasco, kaibigan ko rin yan. Kaibigan ko tatay kasi abogado, kaibigan ko man sila lahat, justices and all. Sabi ko, so if you have numbers after the elections.
But the Chief Executive revealed that he and later Representative-elect Martin Romualdez had not talked about the speakership then, while he hasn't talked with Davao del Norte Representative Pantalon Alvarez about the position.
Kay Romualdez, kay Martin, he's a friend, he supported me. I really masakit sa loob ko sabihin, pero hindi talaga ako nangako sa kanya. Si Alvarez, he never mentioned about the speakership. Naririnig ko lang na ganon.
According to President Duterte, Velasco, Cayetano, Romualdez, and Alvarez are his friends, and he doesn't want any of them to feel bad towards him. That is why he never promised the House Speaker position to any of them.
The semblance of a knowledge prior to the elections, but I never gave any concrete yes.
To address the impasse, the President agrees on the proposal of term sharing between Cayetano and Velasco.
Ito sabi ko, maghati kayo ng term. Gusto ni Cayetano, mauna siya. But he will stay there just for 15 months. That's what he committed. And Velasco can have the other half, which is not really as short as 21 months. Sabi ko, ganon ang proposal. Pumayag na si Cayetano, but si Velasco mukhang last minute nag-back out.
The President stands firm that he will not intervene in the process of choosing the 18th Congress Speaker of the House.
So ang suggestion ko is ganito. Yan lang naman, puro man tayo magkaibigan dito. Huwag na lang tayong mag-away. I will not help anybody. Maglabo-labo na lang kayo. Romualdez, Alvarez, Cayetano, I am sorry. I am very sorry. I could not be of help. Because hindi rin ako mag-underground. I will not secretly pass on any order or encoded na mag-ano kayo. Kung sinabi ko yan, yan na yan.
Meanwhile, Cayetano, Velasco, Romualdez, and Alvarez has yet to comment on this matter. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Philippine Air Force has standby forces in case the president orders them to take over the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. The president has first given his warning that he will order the Air Force to take over the operation of NAIA if the issue on the airport's security is not resolved. Vincent Arboleda will tell us why.
The operations and fulfillment of the Philippine Air Force mission will not be delayed, even after President Rodrigo Duterte orders them to take over the operations of the Ninoy Aquino International Airport, or NAIA. Air Force spokesperson Major Aristides Galang assures they have dedicated reserve forces to be deployed right away should the Chief Executive finally give the go signal. Galang explains they are only waiting for a formal order to finally lay out their contingency plan.
Meron naman po tayong enough personnel to handle na NAIA po. No? Meron naman po tayong personnel for that. At the same time, flexible naman po ang command for aligning our personnel kung magkakaroon po tayo ng directive galing sa taas.
Galang assures it is also part of their mission to secure and protect the Filipino citizens.
Lagi naman po kami prepared on any eventualities. Kung halimbawa naman po will be directed or directed by the President to take over NAIA, wala naman po tayong problema doon because the Philippine Air Force naman po, lagi naman po tayong prepared at handa when it comes to the security at saka support sa ating mga kababayan.
Last Wednesday, Duterte warned that if security at the 4 terminals of NAIA is not improved, the Air Force will take over. It can be noted that on June 10, the President conducted a surprise inspection at the NAIA Terminal 2 following reports of flight cancellations and delays. The President said the poor situation in NAIA may cause accidents if not resolved. He then ordered the transfer of general aviation or domestic flights to Sangli Air Base in Cavite City by November this year. Vincent Arboleda, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
In other news, Laguna pioneers in technology that turns rice straw to biogas. Mirasol Abugadil will tell us why.
Straw seems to be useless after rice is harvested. Farmers usually burn rice straw in the open field, causing air pollutants such as carbon monoxide, hydrocarbons, nitrogen oxide, and sulfur dioxide. But because of a technology brought by British company Straw Innovations Limited, rice straw will no longer just turn into waste.
And we stack the diame into big piles and make biogas from it. And this is something quite unusual. It's a difficult material to make biogas from, among the pioneers in the world. And it's here in Laguna, in the Philippines.
According to Jameson, biogas is a versatile fuel.
Biogas is it's a gas that comes from biological materials being broken down without oxygen, without air. So what we do is, in a controlled environment, we exclude the air, and people can cook with it, you can power machinery with it, you can make electricity from it. It's a very clean, versatile fuel.
Straw Innovations say the project aims to provide low-cost technology to manage rice straw and transform and support energy access. For the locals, the new biogas facility launched in Victoria, Laguna is beneficial to the farmers and the citizens as a whole.
Sa akin talagang kailangan kasi most of the time yung waste na rice straw talagang hindi pinakikinabangan sa Pilipinas yan. At saka nagiging problema pa ng mga farmer. Kung itutuloy-tuloy lang itong mga ganitong pamamaraan, mas maganda ang magiging resulta nito.
May ibsan po yung kahirapan. Kasi kung magkikreate nga po ng mga trabaho, napakalaking kaluwagan po para sa aming mamamayan.
According to the Philippine Rice Research Institute, or PhilRice, the Philippines has been cited as producing 15.2 million tons of rice that leave 11.3 million tons of rice straw a year. Mirasol Abugadil, UNTV News and Rescue.
Ginebra team will face Purefoods in the UNTV Cup PBA Legends face-off battle for third on July 2nd after the Alaska team beat them. Despite the loss last Sunday, the Ginebra players went home with a smile. Nina Armilio will tell us why.
Through the years, this has been the cheer of Ginebra fans. In every game, win or lose, the fans stayed the same. The Ginebra team has been tagged the crowd favorite since the 70s.
Ginebra!
Young and old alike, fans remember and live by the team motto, never say die. Just like Joseph Christian San Juan Capo and his family, this 35-year-old Ginebra fan is not hindered by his special condition. Joseph Christian has cerebral palsy.
Ano siya, simula nung ipanganak ko, kasi hindi kami compatible ng dugo ng mister ko, nalalason siya. Kaya dapat, pagkalabas ko pa lang sa panganganak sa kanya, pinalitan na dugo niya. Ang nangyari, 2 days pa bago siya napalitan. Kaya yung bacteria, umakyat na sa brain niya.
His mother says that Joseph Christian is a cheerful and lively boy. And one thing that makes him happy is watching his favorite team play.
Kasi yung kaligayahan po ng naibibigay ng Barangay Ginebra sa anak ko, hindi namin kaya ibigay.
During the Ginebra-Alaska clash last Sunday, Joseph Christian was able to witness his favorite players live in hard-court action. He might not have the loudest cheer, but he was on cloud 9 that day. The Ginebra team gave him an autographed EFS ball and jerseys from his favorite player, Bal the Flash David.
Siyempre, goosebump nga, kasi matagal ko na nakikita si Joseph. Rookie year ko pa, andun na si Joseph. No? Talagang yung family niya, sinusuportahan kami. Hindi lang Ginebra, buong PBA. No? And we're very proud. Talagang meron kaming fans na kagaya ni Joseph. So, we're giving it back to all to Joseph. God bless you, Joseph.
Basta kami, masaya kami no, na tumutulong sa mga tao at yung mga fans na sumusuporta sa amin hanggang ngayon, na ina-appreciate namin yon, no? Binabalik namin kung ano man yung binigay nila sa amin, binabalik namin ngayon para sa kanila. No? Same time, papasalamat talaga ako kay Kuya Daniel Rason sa pagsuporta sa amin at pagtayo nitong PBA Legends.
Just like their favorite team, the San Juan Capo family are there for one another to win and overcome the challenges in life.
Kasi magkaroon ka ng ganyang anak, hindi mo talaga dapat sukuan eh. Lahat ng needs niya, lahat ng binibigay namin hanggang pag nagkasakit, bigay lahat talaga. Ginagawa namin lahat ang paraan. Parang Barangay Ginebra, never say die.
Ginebra may not have won last Sunday, but for Joseph Christian, bringing all the love from his favorite players, he went home a winner. Niña Armilio, UNTV, News and Rescue.
And for the news abroad, here's Stephanie C. reporting live from Hong Kong.
The two lawmakers vying to be the next British Prime Minister vowed they would be prepared to take Britain out of the European Union without a deal, although it was not their preferred option. Jovic Burmas will tell us why.
Former Foreign Secretary and London Mayor Boris Johnson faced off with Jeremy Hunt, the current Foreign Secretary, at a Conservative Party hustings in the southern English city of Bournemouth. Johnson has been bullish, vowing that Britain would definitely leave the EU on October 31st, deal or no deal, although he has also said that the chances of leaving without an agreement were 1,000,000 to 1. In his speech to some of the Conservative Party members who will ultimately elect the next British Prime Minister, Johnson dismissed concerns that a no-deal Brexit would hit Britain's aviation industry and food supplies.
I say to you that the hour is darkest before dawn. And we can turn this thing round, and we can recover, and we can win. And I'll tell you what we need to do. There are 3 things that we need to do, and the first of them is what? It is to get Brexit done, to get Brexit done, to get Brexit over the line by October the 31st, and come out of the EU. That is what we're going to do.
Following after Johnson, Hunt told party members he didn't think there was a big difference between his Brexit strategy plan and his rivals, but used his entrepreneurial background to show himself as the better negotiator in attempting getting a new Brexit deal with the EU.
The quickest way to get out of the European Union is to negotiate a deal that can get through Parliament, and that is what this entrepreneur, this negotiator is going to do for our party and for our country, because we are one of the oldest democracies in the world, and in this country we do what the people tell us, and we're going to deliver Brexit.
would you fall on your sword and resign?
Of course. I mean, no Prime Minister is going to last any time at all if they don't deliver.
Hunt also defended his campaign pledge of wiping out tuition fees for graduate entrepreneurs who can employ 10 people full-time for 5 years, after Johnson said it would mean a lot of people would automatically be defining themselves as entrepreneurs. This was the third of 16 hustings around the UK. Johnson has long been the clear favorite in the contest and easily made it to the final two, securing the votes of more than 100 Tory MPs in each round. However, his lead has started to slip over the past few days following an escalation in Hunt's rhetoric and the fallout from a recording of Johnson and his girlfriend Carrie Simmons having a row in their flat. Johnson or Hunt will be announced as Britain's new Prime Minister on Tuesday, July 23rd. Jovic Burmas, UNTV News and Rescue, London, United Kingdom.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel was seen shaking once again during a ceremony in Berlin on Thursday, 8 days after a similar incident. Video showed Merkel, 64, gripping her arms as her body was shaking on Thursday. After about 2 minutes, she looked steadier and shook hands with the new Justice Minister. She was offered a glass of water but did not drink it. Merkel had blamed the previous incident on dehydration. She later set off for the G20 summit in Japan as planned at lunchtime.
In France, ratcheted up heat wave warnings on Thursday, placing parts of the south on the highest level of alert for Friday as temperatures continued to soar across the country. Weather agency Meteo France forecast new temperature records for Friday. Emergency services had expressed concerns of being overwhelmed by patients. In the red alert areas, school outings and festivities were canceled or placed under tight conditions, physical activities in school will be halted, and there would be increased outreach for vulnerable populations. Kat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue.
And those are the news from the other parts of the globe. Back to you, William.
Much Stephanie C. reporting live from Hong Kong. Jonathan Paul, or Jony Ive, the Briton who over 2 decades helped turn Apple into the world's most valuable company, is leaving to set up his own venture. Jony, designer of the iMac, iPod, and iPhone, leaves later this year to start a creative firm loved from with Apple as its first client. Apple boss Tim Cook said his role in Apple's revival cannot be overstated, but the departure comes at a time of wider change at the tech giant. Retail chief Angela Ahrens left in April, and investors have been worried about falling iPhone sales. Filipinos are known as happy people, but there are things or events in life in which they experience more than being happy or elated. What are the things that people do that make Filipina girls feel kilig? April Senedosa will tell us why.
The Dalagang Pilipina Challenge has become a hit in the Philippines, as children, adults, or even senior citizens film themselves while making funny faces. This wouldn't go viral without netizen Mimi Ya, who started the challenge. Netizens mimicking Mimi Ya have made fun of themselves, timing their poses to the beat of Dalaga, a song performed by hip-hop group Almost, feeling kilig.
Isang dalagang Pilipina, yeah.
Kilig? Yes! This Filipino coined word has been part of the Oxford English Dictionary. The dictionary defines kilig as a feeling of exhilaration or elation caused by an exciting or romantic experience. Netizens didn't hesitate in sharing their kilig overload experiences. We have searched for young Filipino girls and asked them, what are the things that make them feel kilig?
Bongga na! Gusto mo yan!
Bilang isang dalaga, ang nagpapakilig sa akin yung BTS. Kasi po, yung mga song na inaano nila, kinocompose nila, nakaka-inspire, tapos nakaka-relate sa amin. Kaya gano'n. Tapos ang gugwapo pa nila.
Boyfriend ko po kasi nga po. Inspired ako sa boyfriend ko. Eto po siya. syempre single, yung nagpapakilig na lang po sa akin ngayon, yung mga story po na binabasa ko sa Wattpad, yung sila Elijah Montefalco, sila Rage Del Piero, grabe po talaga yung kilig ko yun. At saka syempre nagwi-wish ako na sana meron din akong gano'n na sa totoong buhay, yung lalaking ma-effort, yun, doon ko talaga mararamdaman yung totoong kilig.
Nagpapakilig sa akin, dahil gagraduate na ako ngayon sa UP, makakalaya na ako sa ACADS, kinikilig ako.
K-pop, K-drama, yung mga boy band po sa Korea. Kasi ang gugwapo nila sa galing sumayaw po.
Kilig po!
April Senedoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
A man who miraculously recovered from end-stage liver disease committed the rest of his time to making the lives of his lifesavers better. Mirasol Abogadil will tell us why.
Zach Sco is on a mission. Fueled by passion for animals and a history of overcoming immense obstacles, the Dog Rescue Center owner wants to save unwanted pets from euthanasia and send them to live with prisoners. His Positive Change program operates in 5 California prisons, including Kern County's Juvenile Hall, where 5 teenage girls look after 2 dogs full-time for 3 months. SCO's aim is rehabilitation for the inmates and the foster dogs.
Prison programs, not only taking on dogs, but taking on difficult dogs that we'd have a very tough time placing otherwise.
The dogs graduate the Juvenile Hall program with a K9 Good Citizen certificate showing they have been trained and are ready for adoption. For the prisoners, SCO says the dogs are furry pieces of medicine. It's medicine he has had a taste of himself. In 2008, doctors told SCO he had end-stage liver disease and gave him 3 months to live. At 28 years old, his drug and alcohol addiction making him unsuitable for a life-saving liver transplant. He was sent home to await the inevitable. His 3 dogs, he says, saved his life.
You know, I recognized that if I couldn't live for myself, I was going to try and live for them.
SCO, now sober, started exercising and founded Marley Smuts Rescue Center, taking in what he calls throwaway dogs nobody else wanted to adopt.
You know, I've always felt like a throwaway human, and so I've identified with dogs who feel like throwaways.
11 years on from his diagnosis, SCO no longer has liver cirrhosis, a recovery he calls virtually unheard of, and is married with a 1-year-old daughter. As for the graduates of his prison programs, he says many have gone on to work in the pet services industry after release, and none have gone back to prison.
In the United States of America, we still roughly euthanize 2 million shelter pets a year, and we incarcerate 2.5 million Americans. So until both of those problems have been fixed, I think we should have dog programs in absolutely every correctional facility in the United States, if not on planet Earth.
Come on, baby girl.
Mirasol Abogadil, UNTV News and Rescue.
And those are the reasons behind the news this June 28, 2019. On behalf of Alex Baltazar, I am William Theo, and before we close, we will recap with today's significant sound bites. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Good evening.
Corruption, it's not corruption. He's not corrupt. He's just talkative.
How can a president be scared of impeachment? An impeachment is a numbers game. Eh, super majority ngayon sa Kongreso, baka sa Committee on Justice, wala na kagad yan.
Dahil LTO lang naman ang nagbibigay ng driver's license, so sila lang ang may karapatan na kunin niya ang, na kumpiskahin yung driver's license.
And we stack the diame into big piles and make biogas from it. And this is something quite unusual. It's a difficult material to make biogas from, among the pioneers in the world. And it's here in Laguna, in the Philippines.
Kasi pagka na hindi mo talaga dapat sukuan eh. Lahat ng needs niya, lahat ng binibigay namin hanggang pag nagkasakit, bigay lahat talaga. Ginagawa namin lahat ng paraan. Parang barangay Ginebra, never say die.